can save ya, cause this is the season of funky behavior. I came to relax your mind, you can recline. On what? On this here rhyme. I like the style, I'm staying for a while. It helps me show cats that I'm versatile. I'll touch your dial, turn your frown to a smile. I'll make you feel like you're having a child. So relax and open up, child. I'm about to make you walk what? Pimp style or pimped out style. You don't understand the logic. See, if you don't have it all, I'll take a deposit. I got shit for you, it's alright indeed. It's like going to the garden and planting the seed. You might tickle for a second, but it won't bleed. So just relax, just hear a dope ride. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax and just hear a dope ride. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Your entertainment at the same time, edutainment. In other words, you could call it bent. What I'm saying is that I'm here at your service. It's hard work, but then again, I deserve this. I'm helping people enjoy their spare time. I'm like an instructor when I'm doing my rhyme. Relax and just hear the dope track. It's really not all that, it's not like a gag. We like that when everything is relaxed and chill. You don't have to get fucked up or take pills, cause I like being myself, it feels good. Yo, it makes my meals taste good. 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 So just relax. If you're a dope ride, the vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax. And you're a dope ride, the vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax.
Yeah, now we back at it again, y'all.
Why's a kid fuck with shake and take it to a lower level and dig a ditch for a devil. Got some more kids and pass the shovel. Nigga ho, take them on a spiritual roll. Lyrics unfold,
Let me see if I can get that down a
the
little bit. Yeah, we're back again. Guess what, y'all? It is election day, and I just came back to say what's up because, damn, I mean, this is almost the most important day in a lot of people's lives, like most Americans' lives right now. Let's be honest. If you fucking hate Trump, if you're tired of Trump attacking your allies, if you're tired of Trump attacking Mexico, Canada, NATO, Colombia, Venezuela, just attacking. If you're tired of goddamn military, Marines, National Guard being used and actually to target Americans' homes, American communities. If you're fucking tired of that, today is a hell of a special day, and it's not the only day, but this is a one special day. Now, next year, Trump is devastatingly scared of because his ass can easily be impeached. In fact, if enough representatives were really out to do what's right by American citizens, they would be impeaching Trump right now. I'm talking about kicking him out of the White House, the entire administration. That can be done in one day. Don't ever forget that. It's the voter. If you want your representatives to impeach Trump, then you need to go bang on their door and say, motherfucker, impeach Trump now. You know what I'm saying? Like, write them a letter, do whatever contact them, get in their face, get direct. Because they're getting your tax dollars. And don't forget, your vote is about your tax dollars. How well you do. What do you get? And I'm going to tell you right off the bat, a lot of Americans don't know much about their own tax dollars because they don't even, the legacy media doesn't even do stories that tell Americans how much of the tax dollars in other countries is used to improve the citizens' own lives versus the American citizen versus the USA. They don't even do that story. That story doesn't even exist in legacy media, which is shameful because no matter who you vote for, no matter what politics you vote for, you would actually want to get a comparison of how well you're doing, what your value of a citizen is versus somebody else's. I mean, to me, that seems like the minimum. And yes, a lot of Americans, Too many of them have been so proud to be last. Basically, too proud to be last. And I'm not saying this about make America great again like Trump thinks. No, because that's obviously didn't go too well. What I mean is the taxes that Americans pay, far less of it goes to healthcare, education, clean water, roads, transportation that works within where they live. These kind of basic things that everybody needs to succeed. A lot less of American citizens' tax dollars goes to that than in other Western nations. Yes, other Western nations, more of their tax dollars goes towards shit like childcare. Goes towards, which is why other places in the world say they're happier, but goes towards education. That means instead of talking about who's the best in education, why don't you just remove all the expensive fees and find out who's really best at academia? I mean, after all, classism shouldn't have a stranglehold on academia, right? Because money doesn't equal intelligence. It doesn't. It doesn't equal intelligence, and that's obvious because the United States imports a whole lot of intelligent people that come from places where people make a whole lot less money and end up making the U.S. a whole lot of money internationally. So, I mean, look at Elon Musk. Why the hell you import Elon Musk in the first goddamn place? Even though he's evil, even though he's a mad scientist, even though he wants to take AI and take automation and use it to suck your blood. I mean, he might even create a machine that makes your blood, human babies, feed the machines that's taking your jobs. I mean, that's what I mean. But at least you can know if you're going to pay for that, since you're subsidizing Elon Musk and his mass madman shit and Peter Thiel's madman shit, since you're funding that with your tax dollars, 50% of your tax dollars goes towards shit that directly impacts your life as an American citizen. If you're going to pay it that much to other shit, you should at least have something, that you can use in return for it. But in any case, before I get into the data, because this one's going to be quick, I just want to show y'all what U.S. News is already saying about today, just the breakout numbers. I mean, this is what they're showing today, and it's pretty cool. I actually like what I'm seeing here. Let's see.
A lot of attention. CNN chief data correspondent Harry Enten is here. There's a real mixed bag here.
Vote blue if you want your dollars to work for you.
As far as ideologies go, where you've got, moderate candidate in Virginia and you've got a Democratic socialist in New York City. I guess the question is, how can they both be seen as bellwethers?
I mean, the common denominator here is Donald Trump, and Democrats are on the precipice of delivering a huge blow to Donald Trump in his second term. What are we talking about here?
I mean, the crooks. He let the crooks out. The crooks, the ones that want to misuse everybody's tax dollars. He made it painfully obvious to everybody.
Why don't we just look? Democrats lead all the key races. You go to New Jersey governor. That's really the only close one. Mikey Sherrill, the Democrat, up by 6 points. Abigail Spanberger in Virginia, up by 10. Zohran Mamdani, up by 16 points in New York City. The bottom line is this. Yes, they're
Notice this. 2 women, 1 man, 1, I guess you could say ethnic minority American, right? 2 women. I don't know what their backgrounds are ethnicity wise, but they look like they could be the ethnic white American women. But see, they're minority. I mean, they're not more minorities, but they're pretty much how can I say, they're not at the top of the food chain in the U.S. Women, American women aren't. They're kind of like number 2. You know what I mean? Hence why the U.S. has never had a female president before, and why Kamala Harris is the only female vice president that you have ever seen in your life. And if you don't start voting like you give a damn about where your tax dollars go, you may never see another one, period. You may never see another one. And don't be so proud over your record, because your record about supporting women in the U.S. is piss poor. Your record about equal rights for women, that shit is back in the Flintstone ages. That shit is totally pathetic. Totally pathetic. Women pay taxes. When you going to stand up for your tax dollars? When you going to want your tax dollars to work for your communities? When you going to want the tax dollars to work for you too? Because it's working for Donald Trump and the stripper boys, the boys that like to go to the strip club in Mar-a-Lago and watch women shake their titties and asses. It's working for them.
Ideological
And the elite pedophiles is working for them too.
differences between the Democrats, but the key common component is they are all going after Donald Trump, and all the Democrats lead from New Jersey to Virginia to New York City. They all lead the Republican and independent.
Click the like button, y'all. Thank you.
How much is he impacting the cases? And never mind that they want to beat him in their minds. It's sort of like, hey, this is to show you that we can beat you. But how much is he affecting these?
I mean, look, Donald Trump is a huge drag in all of these races. Look at his net popularity ratings.
And this is how he looks, and this is what Republicans stand for. This is what happens when you throw a gluttonous, fat slob out to be the leader of your party, control your Congress, control everything. This is what happens. This is what he really looks like to the polls. I mean, and I'm glad American people have some goddamn sense to actually see ugly and recognize what it is. It is this gluttonous, fat slob pig. Okay?
In New Jersey, he's 11 points underwater. Virginia, 14 points underwater. Not much of a big surprise in New York. He's 35 points underwater. And I will note nationally in my aggregate polls, he's about 13 points underwater. In our CNN poll, he's way below that, which looks a lot like New Jersey, a lot like Virginia. So these races.
Remember, any of you states that had any natural disasters, Trump had fun. Trump had fun withholding your tax dollars that your mother, your father, you, your sister, your brother already paid out to the federal government. And we have a tradition. That's the reason why we pay federal taxes for the big shit that the small states can't do alone. This MFer actually had the nerve to make fun of natural disaster in the U.S. If you flooded out, hurricaned out, he actually said, hey, well, maybe I won't give you any money. But we already gave him the money. He already got your money. He got your money like a slave. Whoosh, first. And then he hold it over your head in the time of a natural disaster. That's the exact opposite of what the fucking federal government is supposed to do. Yo, folks, I mean, are you slaves? Are you slaves in the U.S.? Are you? I mean, the War of Independence started over taxation without representation. Why? What is it about American people? Is it that you watch too much motherfucking TV to actually realize that less of your taxes goes to any fucking thing that supports your fucking community in the first place? And then you get a slob like Donald Trump. He wants to make it even less. He wants to make it even less. What the heck? All right, let's go.
Bellwethers going into next year to understanding how Donald Trump is impacting these races. He is
You better vote blue. You better vote blue. I'm telling you. And if blue is not telling you more of your tax dollars is going to go to help your actual fucking life, then find somebody else. But right now, the only party that seems to want more of your tax dollars to work for you, the citizen, is blue.
A huge drag in across the board, New Jersey, Virginia, and New York City.
Do these races tell us anything about the midterm as to what happens here and what might happen in the midterm?
Yeah, okay. So, I was mentioning, of course, Donald Trump being a huge drag, right? He's at his second term lows, not just in our CNN poll, but across the different polls that we were looking at this weekend. And why is it that these races are so important? Well, go back through history, jump in that DeLorean. Look at what has happened when Democrats sweep New York City, New Jersey, and Virginia governor. They won the U.S. House the next year 5 out of 5 times in the last 90 years. You go all the way back to the FDR administration. So the bottom line is this. When Democrats do well in these off-year elections, when they sweep New Jersey, Virginia, and New York City, historically speaking, that means they go on to win the U.S. House of Representatives the next time around. And when we're in this national polarized environment and Donald Trump is as unpopular as he is, I think that history is likely to hold if, in fact, Democrats do sweep tomorrow.
Well, the bottom line is that what's going on in the U.S. right now is a fucking nightmare. It's a nightmare. So, don't wait. Fight every step of the way. Like, until this regime is totally out of power, you're not safe. Period. You're not safe. Just keep that in mind. No matter what happens in this election, because this is not the congressional election, right? The midterms, right? You're still going to have to pay the same taxes you paying right now for nothing. For nothing. Federal taxes. You paying federal taxes right now in the U.S. for nothing. For nothing. The only people getting something out of these federal taxes is rich people. And who else? Rich people. Who else is getting something out of it? How are the federal taxes benefiting fucking U.S. citizens in the United States of America? Where does that happen? What has Trump done to actually say, oh, yeah, we will assist you in this? I mean, there's loads of natural disasters, even with Republican states, that he came out front and said, no, that's not federal government business anymore. That was his whole policy. That's not federal government business anymore. But he didn't say, yeah, but by the way, we're going to lower your federal taxes then. No, he said it's not your business and you're going to keep paying the goddamn taxes. Yo, get rid of these motherfuckers. Like, these people are evil. These people hate American people. And I'm talking about even the MAGA people. They hate you. They hate you. They might try to talk you up like, yeah, we're on your side. Shh. They fucking hate you. They hate you and they treat you like it.
Tomorrow, which at this point looks more likely than not.
We will have to see. We also have some new polling numbers also that makes Democrats not look so good. So it's kind of like wondering whether this historic norm will stay as per usual.
And that, my friend, is why we go 365 years to find out what happens next year.
All right. Thank you so much, Harry.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, they're talking about Virginia there. Many eyes are on that battle between Democrat Abigail Spanberger and Republican Winsome Earl-Sears.
This lady Sears, she's running. She doesn't even know. She doesn't know shit about nothing, yo. She doesn't know shit about anything. It's like they went out there and found the most dumbest black woman they could find on earth and said, yeah, I'll support her. Put her up. That's like Trump's girl. I mean, this lady really believes that trees don't fall in the forest if she's not there to see it with her own eyes personally.
Obama hit the campaign trail this weekend to try and give Spanberger a boost in this very final stretch.
Abigail's opponent does seem to care a lot about what Trump and his cronies are doing. Virginia, you don't need a governor who puts party and ideology ahead of the people she was elected to serve. You deserve a governor who will think for herself. And
keep in mind, these are your tax dollars paying these people. So you can complain about Dems, but you can't really complain about Dems if you're not irately fucking offended by Republicans. See, that's the thing about it. If anybody's got in their head like, yeah, oh, but Dems, all the Dems. Yeah, but where's the energy with the Republicans? Because if you don't like the Dems, you're supposed to 10 times and 9 times and 20 times fucking not like the Republicans. What the hell? It's not equal. It's not equal at all.
Work for you. You deserve a governor like Abigail Spanberger.
All right, let me see. Obama here. Okay, let me see. Let me just go back now. There's some more in here. Did I turn it out? Let me see what else is in here real quick before I go to the next one. Yo, actually, the polls are looking pretty good for Dems, but I don't like to focus on Dems. I like to focus on policy. A lot of people get angry because of party. No, get angry because of policy. That's where a lot of people get tricked. It's like these Republicans voted for party. They didn't vote for policy. There's nothing in it for nobody. Nothing in it. And they still won't even give you numbers about how many illegal aliens they've sent out of the country. All this ripping of babies from mothers' arms, all this shit you got to watch every fucking day. All these American citizens you got to watch being harassed every fucking day. And they still can't give you no numbers. That's because they don't have any numbers. They don't have any numbers. They're at the end of this, they would have deported less illegal immigrants than Obama did. Far more illegal immigrants. That's the facts of the matter. Because if it was anything close to something comparable of Obama in 8 months, I'm just talking about in his first 8-month period. If there was anything close, if you just break it down year by year, they would have already showed you. Oh, hold on.
Hundreds of things will happen in the next year that could affect how people evaluate him. Desperate nothing. Then
I want to go straight to the data. Where was that?
At least of the top positions, that's very important.
Okay, so they saying Mamdani is up 16%, Spanberger, right, is up 10%, and Cheryl is up 6% in the governor's race in New Jersey. So these are two governor's races and one mayoral race. And big up to Mamdani. He would be the first Muslim mayor of New York. Now, people didn't care. This is the same city where they would burn your ass up. In the 1900s, end of the 1800s or whatever, this kind of period. You know what I'm saying? Early New York City history, you had a lot of different ethnicities going after each other, treating each other like shit. You see what I'm saying? Like, straight up. Now, they had these same problems back then. Historically, it's always been a problem, but this would be the first time there's ever been a Muslim that came anywhere close to serving as a mayor in New York. All right. So just think about that. Now, in the history of New York, they had the Irish, the Italians, certain groups of these European descents they felt were treated poorly by the other ones. Yeah, they had that. That's a part of New York history, by the way. That's a part of American history, And so they have this norm. Shit. I mean, if you want to go further back, they was burning witches, women, just for saying, hey, I'm a Protestant and I'm not a Catholic. Set her ass up on flames. That's what was going on in the U.S. So keep that in mind. The United States of America is still the country that has never had one woman serve as president. The people have not entrusted a woman one motherfucking times, and each and every one of these people come out of a woman. That shows you how fucking backwards they are. Like, just flat out. It's not about party. It's about the facts. Each and every one of you come out of a goddamn woman, and in the same country where you still in 2025, after 250 fucking years, hasn't trusted one woman. That will always equal trash. And that's exactly what you got. You chose a rapist, felon, gluttonous felon, because you would do anything else than just a decent woman. That's the major insult to most Americans, that she's a fucking woman. Like, and that's what it is. Because if it wasn't that way, you would have saw other women have an opportunity to be the first vice president. You see, you would have seen that before in the history, but it is that bad with bigotry towards women. They may not realize it. Don't wait for an American to acknowledge it. That will be a waste, because if you ain't acknowledged that after 250 fucking years, you ain't never going to acknowledge it.
But the midterm elections are a year away. And in the Trump era, hundreds of things.
Exactly. Let me see here. What else is going on?
Election day, and in two closely watched races, the front runners are offering sharply different paths forward for Democrats. In the New York City race, I know you've heard a lot about this mayoral race. Zohran Mamdani has sprung to political stardom with his upstart campaign as a Democratic socialist, while in Virginia,
he hasn't raped any women. He's not accused of harassment by any women. He hasn't failed New Yorkers before. He hasn't been indicted like Eric Adams for corruption, right? For under the table bribes. One thing we know is that this is the candidate that's running that's not dirty, basically.
Virginia's governor's race, Abigail Spanberger, a former congresswoman and CIA officer, has laid out a much more moderate vision, even enlisting former President Obama in the
They even say it's more Jewish New Yorkers voting for him than any of the other candidates, actually.
Last stretch of her campaign. CNN's Isaac Dovier joins us now. This is a major sort of identity test in some ways. I have to say, I was out this weekend, and the lines for early voting were insane. Like, they were the longest I've ever seen them here in New York.
Yeah, there's a lot of excitement for Mamdani, clearly, but as I write in this piece, it's up on our site right now, only in the Democratic Party, given the identity and existential crises that it's going through, could you have the two clear frontrunners going into races for tomorrow be Zohran Mamdani, as you described him, and Abigail Spanberger, as you described her. These are different people offering very different visions of what the future of the Democratic Party is. And I spent some time in Virginia on Friday, riding around on the bus with Abigail Spanberger, going to events that she was at, talking to her about it, and she was very clear that she thinks, and should say a lot of other Democrats believe what she's saying, that the model that she's put forward in a state that is much more competitive as an incumbent Republican governor is more what the future of the Democratic Party writ large should look like. Even as Mamdani, we see these shots that have been going of him, this march across the Brooklyn Bridge, the energy and passion that he's excited. But one of the things that Spanberger said to me is that when I said to her, you don't have a proposal for government-run website, grocery stores on your website. And she said, that's because I couldn't pass it. And she said, when we talk about things that this Democratic Party is talking about, we have to not.
Well, here's the thing, again, it's your tax money. It's your tax money. And what people have done so far, I'm not even talking about just Trump, as a norm, before that, only 50% of U.S. American tax dollars actually goes towards shit that benefits their actual fucking lives directly. So, can you do worse than that? I mean, you're already worse across the whole Western nations. All Western nations, people's taxpayers, the taxes that are collected by the government, more of the tax dollars go to directly impact the taxpayer's life. The taxes work more for the fucking people who are paying it. Only in the U.S. is the automatic default that 50% got to go benefit the wealthy. 50% has to subsidize projects that never come back to you. 50% has to go to the military. By the way, did you know the United States has socialist military? Yeah, the United States has a socialist military. That means every taxpayer, a percentage of their check goes to the military. So you have socialized military, but you don't believe in socialized education? Then what the fuck are you defending? Dumb people? You're defending uneducated people? You're defending people that you don't even think should have the same right to an education that you have the right to fucking die and be sent to a war over? I mean, right, automatically, that is fucking dumb. And it is akin to slavery. That's what that is akin to. You can't see it any different. You can't be taken seriously and see it as any different. And you know why that is? Not as a Western nation. You know why that is? Because the U.S. is the only one that fucking does it that way. The U.S. does not represent the fucking Western world. It's just that simple. You guys are fucking behind. I'm serious. You're in Flint, and you know the proof. You're in Fred Flintstone land. You don't even want a woman to control her own fucking body. You've never had one woman be the president in the 250-year history. You've only had one vice president. Only one time did you trust one woman in the history in your whole fucking life to actually be even vice president? Stone Age.
Say, we tried it and it didn't work.
Fucking Stone Age.
People believed you. Vulnerable people believed you. And that is something that Democrats need to watch out for, she said, in the immediate, as they're facing an emergency circumstance she sees with Donald Trump, and going into the long term when voters think about what Democrats have actually done for them.
But in this case, voting blue, you can't do any worse than what you're doing right now. Vote for anybody. I mean, fuck Cuomo. Don't do that again. I'm sorry, that's corruption. Eric Adams is corruption. But look, if you're dealing with just philosophy, on that note, and what the future of the Democratic Party is going to look like, no one can predict that. No one has a prediction on that. But why not, instead of saying what it's going to look like, see, that kind of makes you think about their ethnicity, their religion, what it looks like. Surface level shit. No. What is my taxes going to look like? How much money am I going to take home in my pocket after I fucking pay taxes? How much money? What is left over after I pay my taxes in my bill? That should be the question about what it looks like. You see what I mean? Like, who cares what conservative or liberal means when underneath it, if it doesn't mean you're taking home more money in your pocket when you leave work, if it doesn't mean more of your tax dollars is going to benefit you directly, then what the fuck good is it?
Yeah, it's quite interesting when you look at this because...
And this is just legacy media. This is why I'm saying it this way. It's legacy media TV, so I have to speak this way because they give you a whole nother charade going on here. But let me see here. This is polling also.
This is
Let's see what this polling looks like. 2 seconds. Boo, boo, boo. Here we go.
I got a really simple idea. How about we elect the Jersey guy?
Are we ready to beat Andrew Cuomo? Your job is to vote tomorrow. Your job is to vote tomorrow.
Have you ever seen a black woman that voted for the Confederates? Yeah.
The energy in New York, New Jersey, Virginia, and beyond getting higher. President Trump is not on the ballot, but his agenda most definitely is.
If you heard that lady from Virginia that's voting, talking about, you know, she's supporting Trump, she should marry the governor. What's his name? What would be Governor Mark Richardson? Isn't that his name? The one who's the black dude who said African Americans are the ones that should be paying reparations. Shit, it's them. If anybody should pay reparations, it should be black. It should be African Americans. You know, she should go marry his ass and stay the fuck out of politics.
Finds most Americans are not happy with how things are going with Trump back in the White House. The president's approval rating now at its lowest point of his second term. It sits at just 37%. A full 63% of Americans say they're unhappy with the job.
Yo, Prop 50, California, what's up? I know it's early in the morning in Cali, but what's up, Cali? Good morning to you. Godspeed with your vote, Prop 50. Mom Donnie. 100%. I love the energy. I love new ideas because them old ideas failed. Let's be honest. Politicians, it doesn't matter which one you're talking about. Nobody with any kind of scheme from the past can brag about what their fucking record is. Because New York, as a norm, motherfuckers have a hard time. How many goddamn homeless? You call that a fucking success? Like, and anybody that's homeless in America, anyone that's homeless is directly, guess who you're directly related to? Guess who's what is right positioned right next to you? The middle class. And any middle class person in the United States of America is just one tragedy away from being just like you homeless people. So go out there and vote too.
That he's doing. Those are numbers that we last saw after January 6th, 2021. And
I mean, Trump's health care proposal is going to leave a lot of people homeless. I hope nobody has family members that are getting sick because he's saying you ain't going to have a house if somebody gets sick.
A number of key issues from the economy to his handling of the government shutdown. The president finds himself underwater with the American people.
Click the like button, y'all. Thank you.
So the question, will we see that disappointment reflected at the ballot box tomorrow? Democrats are certainly counting on it. 1 year almost to the day since their crushing defeat last November. They're hoping the big wins tomorrow can help them finally take the fight to President Trump.
Let me go to some data here.
Democratic Party, what they're missing, and I think what is a through line between these races, is that the issue of affordability is one that Democrats have seized on, and it's a great vulnerability for the president, and you see it in this polling. So to that degree, I think the Proposition 50 out there in California has tangible impacts for next year in terms of the midterm elections, but in terms of atmosphere.
Because Lord knows Republicans will vote against your affordability. They will vote again against the middle class. They will again vote against the taxpayer, the average taxpayer that's clocking in 9 to 5. That's what they do. That is what they do. So if you lose these next the midterms, if Democrats do not win the midterms, I mean, it's just basically like putting yourself in slavery. I'm talking about all Americans. So, you know, if you want to live in slavery, then by all means, keep voting Republican.
I think,
and this time it's not about race. It's going to be a whole lot more people that have nothing to do with African descent that are going to be in that slavery category. Like, no question about it.
The message, the affordability message is the one to take away here.
Some of y'all already some of y'all just on the edge of it. You know, if you still support Trump right now, then you're headed there.
Yeah, well, let's look at what approval ratings have looked like in heading into past midterm elections. Ronald Reagan back in 1981 sat at 49%. You can see I don't have to read them all to tell you that Donald Trump sitting at 37 is pretty significant. Kristen Soltis Anderson, you read these kinds of numbers all the time. If we put up our
Donald Trump is the most unpopular just in history, but you know, MAGA voters don't care about that.
CNN polling on Trump's job approval, just 28% of independent
Supreme Court don't care about that.
say that they approve of what the president has been doing. Now, obviously, his number's a little bit higher among non-college voters, but still, just 40%.
Yeah, and
non-college voters. And let me tell you, in the U.S., that is a significantly high number. But why is it that 40% non-college voters, 40% of them approve? I mean, come on.
Look,
those are some. Those ain't the numbers you want.
Is significantly more negative than other polls that are out there, which isn't to say that it's not
I mean,
right. But
I can understand those voters if they didn't vote against their own interest. I would understand that, but this is terrible. Like, you literally have that many people saying, I want to go to the poll house. Please, can I vote again?
it is to say, like, let's put it in context. If these numbers are true or even partially true, it ought to be a warning sign to the White House, because a lot of those voter groups that you just had up on the screen were critical to Donald Trump's victories, his coalition, the unusual group of people that he put together.
Click the like button,
to
y'all.
remake the Republican Party in a new, more populist direction, where they're upset with institutions, they want things to change. If I'm giving the White House advice, if we get to the end of this off-year election and Democrats have a great night, on the one hand, some of that is just how this works, right? Barack Obama wins in 2008, Republicans are lost in the wilderness, and all of a sudden they win the New Jersey governor's race with Chris Christie in 2009, right? Being the party out of power does sort of give you more momentum in these off-year elections. So it wouldn't surprise me if Democrats don't do pretty well. At the same time, those job approval numbers for Trump are bad enough and have dipped enough where I think this affordability question and this little bit of like, let them eat cake, we're doing a ballroom, we've got members of the administration taking private jets places, like, I think that that's the kind of
Trump got strippers at Mar-a-Lago and shit.
Stuff that breaks through in a moment when people go, I have to start thinking about Christmas shopping for my kids, that I think the White House needs to pay a lot more.
But there's a significant amount of people that really don't think 2 seconds ahead of their nose. Like, a lot of MAGA people going to think about Christmas on December 1st. They're going to wait that long. Then all of a sudden Christmas is going to hit and they're going to be like, damn, my money, we don't have enough money to do anything. I mean, seriously, if you try to tell them about Christmas 6 months earlier, they can't comprehend it,
attention to that issue.
Yeah, and it's funny, David mentioned the conversation we had. I'll mention the conversation Kristen and I had right before we came out here, which is that the idea that parties who are in the wilderness often look for different ways and different paths forward. And we were talking about Republicans after Mitt Romney, and there's always a question of, do we tack to the middle or do we go to the base? Now, different people can win in different parts of the country, and the mere fact that both Zohran Mamdani is likely to win and Abigail Spanberger is likely to win doesn't mean that any one of them, I think, is the future face of the Democratic Party. It's just, it's a big country.
Right.
And different people win different races.
Yeah, but also remember how that post-Romney identity crisis.
Yeah, I think that's a little too early, this whole idea about what the face is of the Democratic Party. Look, I mean, let me ask you this. Let me ask folks this. Let me see who's in the chat. Okay, let me ask y'all this. Click the like button too, please, if you haven't. But let me ask you this. Do you think your tax dollars are supposed to affect your life directly, right? Or do you think things like transportation, education, healthcare, clean water, roads, what else is there? Childcare and things like that shouldn't have anything to do with your tax dollars at all. If you think those things should have something to do with your tax dollars, right? Because most Americans want to have babies. Most Americans want to, have health care. Most Americans want to have education. If you think those should be part of, should be supported by your taxes, put a 1 in the chat. If you don't think those things should be supported by your taxes, put a 2 in the chat. I'm just interested, to see. And then, because I got some data I'm about to pull up, of course. So let me ask you again, 1 or 2. If you think that these things, that your taxes should benefit you in healthcare, education, childcare, basic things like that have direct impact on the average taxpayer's life. If you think tax dollars should go to that, to support that, put a 1 in the chat. If you don't think tax dollars should go to those kind of things that directly support taxpayers, put a 2 in the chat. That's what I want to know. If you don't, because I don't know what the fuck you would be paying taxes for if you're not pressing the one button. Like, who the hell pays taxes towards shit that doesn't benefit them? That doesn't make any sense. You know, I mean, really. And if EBT is about childcare, it's about feeding kids. What the hell? Who you think that's about? It's about feeding the poor. They pay taxes. The poor pay taxes. Shit, what the hell are you talking about? Why shouldn't a poor person be able to say what they want when they pay fucking taxes? What the hell? Plenty of working poor out there in the U.S. How come the middle class can't say, yeah, I need this because I'm paying the fucking taxes. It's my fucking money. How come that's not a go in the U.S.? Like, all this polarized shit about Democrat, Republican, that's a go because they get to divide people. But what are they dividing you over? Like, what the fuck? I don't give a fuck what your party is. 50%, the fact that only 50% of your fucking tax dollars goes to anything that positively affects the average taxpayer's life, you should slap your motherfucking self in the face. You should, of any party. Anyway, let me just flip off here. Let me go to the next thing. I'm voting blue, though. I'm just saying, but I'm giving you my thoughts. The reason why, because the country I live in, 70% of the taxes people pay goes to shit that positively affects their lives. Those kind of things, like I mentioned, education, healthcare, shit everybody fucking needs. Okay? You know, not just rich people. It's not only rich people that need healthcare. Did you know? Did you know? God damn. Let me see here. Not only rich people that need a decent paying job, right? Okay, now let me see. Mom Donnie said some shit yesterday about
your body language.
About one of the people you all subsidize. You subsidize Elon Musk's life. Every one of you, some of your tax dollars goes right out of your check, right out of your pocket. Every second you work into Elon Musk's pocket. So let's listen to see what he said about him. In other words, if you don't know who Elon Musk is, I'm talking about your massa. Yeah, your massa. Okay, the one who you pay taxes to, and if you don't, you will get whoosh, you will get whipped, okay, by your federal government. Yes. So you better pay those taxes to Elon Musk or you're going to get a whip.
Andrew Cuomo in the New York City mayor's race, just posting
Be a good slave
on social media this. He says, whether you personally like Andrew Cuomo or not, you really have no choice. You must vote for him and hope he does a fantastic job. He is capable of it. Mamdani is not. Well, out front now.
Ooh, this is a nasty. Is this Trump? This is Trump. Hold on. Let me make this a little bigger. Wow. Wow. That's amazing. I didn't even know Trump. I knew he wrote nasty messages, but this is even nasty for him, man. What is this? Damn. He just went straight for the, nothing will ever. He will never, ever, ever. Like, damn, he really got something personal against this guy. Okay. Whether you personally like Andrew Cuomo or not, you really have no choice. You must vote for him. This is your massa talking. Okay, so you MAGA people, you better listen up because your massa is talking to you. And if you don't listen to your massa, he's going to whip you, tie you up to a tree, cut your foot off if you try to escape him. He's going to chain you up and get you to start baling some cotton. Okay, so listen up close, you MAGA people. Here's your massa again talking.
Zohran Mamdani, the candidate for New York City mayor. Media this. He says, whether you personally like Andrew Cuomo or not, you really have no choice. You must vote for him and hope he does a fantastic job. He is capable of it. Mamdani is not.
Signed, your massa.
Well, out front now, Zohran Mamdani, the candidate for New York City mayor. And so President Trump making it very clear here, there's no beating around the bush here. You really have no choice. You must vote for him, Andrew Cuomo. What do you say to that?
Look, this is something that...
Yo, if you listen to Trump, you're a bitch. All right? I just got to say that. You're a punk ass. And I'm not talking about it connected to any women. What I mean is you are a punk ass. You are not, you can't be, you are the most saddest, pathetic human being. You will be told and talked to like that. And I'm going to tell you, if you respond to being talked to that way, then fuck it. I'm going to talk to you that way too.
That we've been speaking about for months. We've known since the primary that Andrew Cuomo was funded by the same billionaires that gave us Donald Trump's second term. He denied that then. He had a phone call with President Trump trying to coordinate a stop stop our campaign. He then denied that. And even just until these final days, he denied that he was Donald Trump's preferred candidate. But now it's written out for the entire world to see. This is the man that Donald Trump wants to be the next mayor of New York City. And not because he'll be good for New Yorkers, but because he'll be good for Donald Trump. And New Yorkers are exhausted of this agenda in Washington. They don't want to see a mimic of it come here to City Hall.
Do you think it will help Cuomo at all in the polls? I guess specifically if you assume that Trump's trying to talk to that 15% of people who say they're going to vote for Curtis Sliwa.
You know, we continue to be confident about what tomorrow will look like for us, but I do think New Yorkers must understand that Andrew Cuomo waited until the final day before the election to have this be revealed. He wanted to be able to make the message to Democrats that he was in fact the governor that he said he was, and then right at the last moment, the last opportunity to fully embrace the MAGA movement that we have long said he is tied to.
You see? So, I mean, he's what you call a fake Democrat, you know? And, you know, those fake ones got to get the hell out of here. Him and Eric, I mean, come on, man. You know, I feel sorry for folks, but let me hear what he's saying, and then I'm going to show some data here.
So Trump also posted, so he endorses Cuomo, okay? Then he also talked about you, referring to you as a communist. I believe last time we talked, I don't know how many times I had of him calling you a communist. That's
Trump is a communist, yo.
not new, but he said, if communist candidate Zohran Mamdani wins the election for mayor of New York City, it is unlikely that I will be contributing federal funds other than the very minimum as required to my beloved first home because of the fact that as a communist, this once great city has zero chance of success or even survival. Okay, what do you think that means? Other than the very minimum as required.
Because no one survived before Trump. Do you know what I mean? Like, so Trump knows.
Could be an important clause, I suppose, in that sentence.
I mean, how many Democrats did Trump support? You know what I'm saying? And now he's like, you never survive without me. Why is that? Because he can't be president anymore? Okay.
But if he says unlikely he's going to contribute federal funds, I mean, what happens then? What will you do if that's how he goes?
Well, I think you can clearly see that Donald Trump is threatened by our campaign. He's threatened by it because, because
Donald Trump thinks federal dollars are his, even though he got the federal dollars from you. And anybody who thinks that that is a legitimate tactic, then why you shouldn't ever complain about the Democrats not supporting the Republican bill to fund the government. If you're okay with Trump doing that, then you can't flip it around and suddenly be, against Democrats doing, saying they're not going to fund the government. You see, isn't that the same thing? You see, yes, it is the same thing. So, I mean, except the only difference is that the Democrats are withholding funding the government because they want to make sure the funding helps and benefits the average American, not just some bankrupt, not just some goddamn criminals, some billionaire criminals. That's the difference. Trump literally only wants the federal dollars to benefit fucking billionaires. Man, this guy is... Yeah, anyway.
We've diagnosed the crisis in working class New Yorkers' lives, the cost of living. But unlike him, we're actually going to deliver on that. And that is a contrast that he can't bear to see. Because while he is spending $300 million remodeling a White House ballroom, the same amount of money that could provide SNAP benefits for 100,000 New Yorkers, he's trying to make it harder for Americans across the country to actually afford groceries. And this money that we're talking about, it's money that New York City is owed. It's not Donald Trump's to decide which city or state will get what money. This is the money that
Say it one more time.
The country to actually afford groceries. And this money that we're talking about, it's money that New York City is owed across the country to actually afford groceries. And this money that we're talking about, it's money that New York City is owed. It's not Donald Trump's to decide. And this money that we're talking about, it's money that New York City is owed. It's not Donald Trump's to decide which city or state will get what money.
Exactly. It was taxpayer money that you already paid out from New York that he's saying he's going to withhold. So you already did your job, the citizen, the worker, and then he's injecting himself in it and saying, no, you haven't. You haven't done your job yet, New Yorkers. You didn't work for hours and hours and hours just to give me a percentage, the federal government, a percentage of your wage. He's saying, you know what? You did all that work. Now I'm going to keep those federal dollars and fuck you. That's really a fuck you to anybody, let alone in New Yorkers. Unless you like getting the fuck you to your face over and over and over. I don't know many New Yorkers that like that, by the way, of any ethnicity. I know plenty of them. Worked for an Italian dude, 3G Stage, dope dude, Gabe, right? Solid dude. Helped out a whole lot of aspiring filmmakers in New York City. Yo, he would be like, who the fuck are you talking to, Trump? What the fuck? What the fuck are you talking about? You know, any of you, who the hell is going to let somebody come back, get your federal dollars, and then say fuck you back to your face? Like, if you go for that, then you will go for that with anybody else doing it to you, period.
This is the money that New Yorkers are owed, and this is the
Matter of fact, give me your fucking money right now. I want some of it. If you that stupid.
that we're going to fight for.
Okay, so Trump is not the only one talking about you tonight. Elon Musk is actually.
In this thing right here, you can give me your money. You can just press $sign and give me some of your goddamn money. Okay? If you please give me your money and I ain't gonna give you shit back. Okay? So that you go at it from Donald Trump.
Talking about you.
What a pair.
And and obviously Musk had supported him, was crucial to his election victory. They had their falling out, but they're back together again. Elon posts about you. Remember to vote tomorrow in New York. Bear in mind that a vote for Curtis, referring to Curtis Sliwa, whom I just mentioned, is really a vote for Mum Dummy, or whatever his name is.
Or whatever his name is. Okay, yeah. But I mean, you know, Elon Musk is such a fake dude because, you know, he doesn't give a fuck about the people that what he did do that I like about him is that he's clever. He read the mindset of the American people before he interjected his thoughts. He said, how do these people think? And so did J.D. Vance, by the way. If any of you who ever read his book or even read excerpts from his book, he actually says something to the effect of rural white Americans, they let their pride get in the way. Like, you can use their pride against them in the electorate. If you just keep saying these things that make them feel good, you know, which are really weird things, like making fun of someone else who is not a rural white American, that shouldn't make you feel good, but it does for them. You see, that's what tickles their fancy, right? If you do those things, you can rob their health care. If you do those things, you can gut their child care. If you do those things, you can rob them of their federal dollars. That's what they meant. And Elon Musk knows this. Peter Thiel knows this. Trump knows this. And they fall for it every single time. Every single time.
Vote Cuomo. All right. Why do you think he's speaking out against you? And obviously the personal insult is in there as well, Mum Dummy.
Look, I think this is one of the more expensive endorsements that Andrew Cuomo has ever gotten.
Same time, Trump will go over there and take bribes and money from people and other, you know, with names like that. You see what I mean? But, you know, they're just total flip-floppers, hypocrites. You know what I'm saying? If you got the money, you can buy Trump.
Because it took $959 million in tax breaks that he gave Elon Musk for Elon Musk's pet projects back when Cuomo was the governor.
What?
$1 million. This is one of the more expensive endorsements that Andrew Cuomo has ever gotten because it took $959 million in tax breaks that he gave Elon Musk for Elon Musk's pet projects back when Cuomo was the governor.
Okay, so that's $1 billion in tax breaks Elon Musk got from Cuomo.
And we're seeing the two twin architects of this second term of Donald Trump's presidency in the president himself and Elon Musk saying clearly to New Yorkers that their candidate is Andrew Cuomo. And they've picked Andrew Cuomo because they know
he's corrupt.
He will be the puppet that they want right here in New York
Basically.
City. And he's showing
And he has been the puppet. I mean, he's been that the whole time.
Himself to not just be that, but also to be their parrot in the language that he's using to close out this election.
Okay.
You know, New York City was supposed to be, if it had real American stewards. And what I mean by that is people that really cared about Americans instead of being classist people. They would be the leaders of the world. They would be the leaders of the world. New York is a big ass city. You see what I mean? And but for some reason, these bigots like to rewrite history, and instead of recognizing the beauty of New York City and its people and their history, they just throw all of that shit in the trash and replace it with something that's flimsy, you know, paper thin, bigoted, and ignorant, you know, while they steal your tax dollars. I mean, New York's, look, listen, y'all, California is a state, but New York City could be driving new energy in the United States of America. It could be the driving force behind green energy. It could be the driving force behind tech. It really can, you know, but Cuomo didn't do that. That's not what Cuomo did. You see what I'm saying? He wasn't interested in that, you know? All right.
Okay. You talk about billionaires, and there have been some really wealthy individuals who have come out and put money in PACs against you in recent days, right? Former Mayor Michael Bloomberg among them. There are plenty of other business leaders who, in private, are afraid. They have concern. There are very few who actually will talk about it publicly, but one of them is Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan, and I'm thinking about this in light of Trump calling you a communist. Jamie Dimon did not call you a communist. He was more intellectual about it. He said, what does he really think? You know, he was part of that socialist democratic thing, which literally is more Marxist than socialist. And I read it, but I don't know what he believes in that. All right, so I guess he's basically saying he's not really sure where you stand on things.
First of all, goddamn Marxists don't hold fucking elections. What are they talking about? What are they talking about? No Marxist says, hey, come on, let's have a vote. I mean, they just tried to scare people. They don't know what the fuck they talking about. What? First it's communist, now it's Marxist. Yo, let me tell you, every American citizen, the United States military is a socialist project. Every American citizen pays taxes out of their pocket, whether you like it or not, to pay the military, no matter if they do anything good for you or not. You see, that's what socialism is. You have socialism in the U.S. The only difference is when it comes to having people educated, you don't like it. So what the fuck are you defending then? Is when it comes to people being healthy, having access to healthcare, you don't support it, but you support it in your military? But what the fuck are you defending? Sick people that can't get access to healthcare? What the fuck are you defending? Ignorant people that can't fucking get access to education? Is that what you're fucking defending? You know, I mean, there's no fucking excuse. You're defending other countries whose people have fucking education and healthcare with your tax dollars, and you can't even get it. You know, you Americans, and I'm saying you, I'm a goddamn American citizen. I just live abroad, right? But I'm telling you, American citizens, what you don't know is killing you. You have nothing to compare yourself to. You see what I mean? All you have to do is start comparing yourself to other Western nations and see where your fucking mistakes are. But you're not even doing it. You spend all your time defending people. Look, we're sitting there giving our, I mean, don't get me wrong, politically is one thing, this issue with Israel and Palestine. But the fact of the matter is that you're defending Israel and they have health care and education for everyone. You defend you're involved in plenty of situations like that. Why don't you believe in it for yourself? That's the crazy thing about it. But when it comes to sending somebody to war to die, get their fucking legs blown off, you okay with socializing that? You're okay with paying? You're a fucking hypocrite. You know, that's what a lot of, I mean, I'm saying mathematically, rationally, you're hypocrites. Emotionally, you may feel like you're proud Americans, but rationally, you're fucking hypocrites. You don't make rational national decisions. You know, there's no real nationalists in fucking United States of America, because if they did, you would have fucking national education program, national fucking health care, if there were any fucking nationalists. Every term that they use in the most backwards way. Like, this guy is supposed to be a communist, then he's supposed to be a Marxist, right? Okay. But then you're against socialism, but you socialize the U.S. military every day of your fucking life. You never had one woman be the president of your own country. That is sick. That's sick. The best you ever had was one woman be a vice president, and you're fucking proud of where you are today? Pfft, you deserve a fucking slap in the face, man, because that is Stone Age.
But what do you say to that concern? Is Marxist something you're comfortable with?
No, I'm a democratic socialist, and I've said it time and again. When was that quote from Jamie Dimon?
From
I don't even agree with the socialist things. I mean, I'm talking about how he uses the term. I just think it's a term they threw on him. I don't think this is socialist. You know, Americans like to throw the word socialist around on a whole lot of people for nothing, yo. People they don't know anything about. You know, they try to say Denmark's a socialist country. They try to say all the NATO countries are socialist. They try to say Canada's a What are you fucking talking about? Like, the capitalism is the driving engine for all of those countries' business. The only time they get socialist is in the big projects: education, military, and healthcare. That's it. And sometimes housing. That's fucking it. And yet, you know, so I don't even agree with his own assessment, democratic socialist. Man, I don't even think it really exists, to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with you. I think you should just call it common motherfucking sense. If you pay taxes, then who else is the fucking tax money supposed to go to benefit but the taxpayer? That's not socialism. That's common goddamn sense. What's wrong is when you pay taxes and you think that none of that shit is supposed to benefit your communities or you. That's what's fucking crazy. You know, I think that the earnest is on the people waking up for real. Don't put people like this in a corner by boxing them in just for trying to point out to you that your tax dollars should work for you. Don't be ashamed of that. That's what everybody else across the Western world believes.
Jamie Dimon. It was from Fortune last week.
Okay.
A Fortune conference.
All right, I'm going to let this play one more second, and then I'm going to go to some data real quick, and then I'm out.
Because what he's also come out and said in public is that in our success, this is something that business leaders would also hope for the success of the city. And I put that forward to say that despite where New Yorkers may stand on my candidacy, whatever qualms they may have, they know that I'm actually being honest with them about my ideas, about who I'm looking to fight for. And that's sadly unique in this race. Because what you have is someone in Andrew Cuomo who spent the entirety of a primary campaign on the premise that he was the best suited to take on Donald Trump. And here we are with the chyron that Donald Trump is endorsing Andrew Cuomo.
So
that's facts. Yo, I like this guy. And I wish New York the best. New York needs some new minds. New York needs some new blood. New York needs some new folks because, yo, New York has always been a city that people really struggle in. You know what I mean? And again, like I said, if you really do the math and you do some comparisons, New York City alone could be the driving hub for green energy across the U.S. You see what I mean? Like people that tend to live, a lot of people when they tend to live close together, don't want motherfucking diesel cars and gas cars burning and trucks burning fucking fumes in their face every day. You know, so even if you're a person that lives out in the Midwest and you don't have that problem, you shouldn't be able to dictate and control how people that live in urban cities deal with their issues. And if green energy is a more sustainable way to go about things, then they should be able to have it because after all, it's their fucking tax dollars. If there's an infrastructure plan, the infrastructure plan should work for them too. It shouldn't always be one over the other in the U.S. And a lot of these people, they go for this kind of politic, you know what I mean? They vote for who they hate instead of vote for what they love. That's a problem. That kind of thinking is the thinking that has gotten you in a situation where after 250 years, you ain't even had a female president. I mean, if you never had a female president, then you know damn well there's a whole lot of other motherfucking discrimination problems going on too. Like you couldn't even find one of your own kind that you trust. I mean, there it is. But in any case, let me flip this over now. Let me take the Zoran thing off and let me go over to this one real quick. Let's see here. And I want to hear some of this data. Draw it back. Now, a lot of Americans aren't really aware of the taxes, you know what I'm saying, that they pay and how the tax dollars are used. So I'm going to play this real quick. Let me see if y'all can see this.
I did a cross-country poll using official COFOG, OECD and national statistics sources and carefully summed the government spending shares that most closely map to the things you asked about. Health plus education, housing and community amenities, plus transport, roads, public transit, social protection items that cover children, childcare, family benefits. Important notes before the numbers, please read. I used share of total government expenditure, i.e. the % of all government spending that is spent on each COFOG function for each country, and added together these functions to get a single direct services percentage. That matches the idea how much of taxpayers' money goes to things that directly improve daily life, health, education, roads, childcare, housing. OECD, COFOG categories map imperfectly too. Childcare. Child family cash benefits often sit inside social protection or education in national accounts. I therefore included social protection as well, because it contains family child allowances and housing benefits in COFOG. That means the numbers include pensions and unemployment benefits as well, so they slightly overstate the share that is only for services used daily by working-age households. I'll flag that where relevant. OECD data are the latest
this is
consistent
pre-Trump,
figures,
all
mostly
right?
2023 from OECD's. national statistical offices, and Our World in Data, which processes WHO OECD data. I cite the sources next to each country. Where national dashboards gave explicit COFOG breakdowns, e.g. Denmark Statbank, I used those. Denmark Statistic, these are rounded to whole percentage points to keep the result readable. If you want an exact table with the raw COFOG lines by function and the exact source cell for each number, I can produce that next. Estimated share of total government spending that goes to direct life-improving services.
Now listen up.
Equals health, education, housing and community amenities, transport, social protection, rounded. Denmark, 73%. Breakdown notes. Denmark's public
73.
finances are heavily weighted to social protection, 41% of gov spending, plus health, 18%, and meaningful shares for education and transport. So the combined share of these direct services is very large. Source, Statistics Denmark, COFOG tables and OECD country notes. Denmark Statistics, Sweden, 70%. Sweden has a similar welfare state structure, large social protection and health spending shares, sizable education spending and municipal level services. Source, OECD, Government at a Glance, COFOG. OECD France, 68%. France's public spending is dominated by social protection and health. Adding education, housing and transport yields a high combined share. Source, OECD country notes, Banque de France summary. OECD, Germany, 64%. Germany spends heavily on social protection, pensions, insurance, health and education. Transport, roads add additional share. Source, OECD, national summaries. OECD, Netherlands, 62%. Netherlands has a high share of social protection plus health, education and municipal services. Source, OECD COFOG data. OECD, United Kingdom, 60%. The UK's combined social protections, health, education, transport, housing share is high, though slightly lower than Nordic peers. Source, OECD COFOG UK ONS breakdowns. OECD, United States, 48%. The US has a noticeably lower combined share going to these COFOG functions compared with the Western European Nordic countries above. Key reasons. 1. A larger share of government spending in the US goes to defense, interest on debt, and general public services at federal level. 2. Many services, K-12 schools, local roads, transit, housing assistance, are funded a lot at the state and local level, which complicates direct federal comparisons. When you combine federal plus state, local COFOG spending, the sum for the US is still lower than Scandinavian, Western European peers.
Yep,
Source,
much lower.
OECD COFOG and Government at a Glance. OEC short interpretation. Takeaway. Nordic and many Western European countries, Denmark, Sweden, France, Germany, Netherlands, UK, typically allocate 60 to 75% of their total public spending toward the bundle of social protection, health, education, housing, community amenities and transport, i.e. services that most directly improve everyday life for citizens. OECD, the United States, spends a smaller share, roughly 48% by this aggregation. The US pattern is more split. Big mandatory programs, Social Security, Medicare, large defense and interest spending at the federal level, and decentralized delivery of many day-to-day services, local roads, K-12 schooling. That produces a lower percentage of total government spending flowing into the direct services bundle compared with high-tax Western European states. OECD. Caveats and how I can make this exact. Recommended next step. I gave you rounded, evidence-backed estimates, so you could see the scale of the difference quickly. If you want precise, auditable numbers...
All right, so you can see right off the bat, and people can go research this themselves if they care so much. If they're just like I did, I care, so I just actually researched the shit. And although I live outside of the U.S., right, I still researched it because I know a lot of Americans don't know, right? And I know legacy media doesn't discuss it, right? So how would you know? Unless you research it yourself. Now, I researched it myself because I care about the topic, right? And I like to have data back up these things, as well on hand. Now, from the jump, it's not talking about how much taxes you pay. It's talking about what percent goes to affect your daily life, to make your daily life. That's what it's talking about. And I'm going to tell you flat off of the bat, a lot of Americans are being told a lie. You actually pay a whole lot of taxes. You think they've always used this argument like, oh, taxes are going to go up. No, taxes don't have to go up. Your fucking priorities have to change. The priority should be the American people everyday life. Okay. You already got a military that can't even return a budget. They can't even tell you where the money is. And yet you're willing to give more to it. Okay, but fine. I believe in the U.S. military. I believe in I don't have an issue with that. But when you can't turn in a budget, when you can't explain how you're spending the money, that's never good. That's called, you wouldn't want a person of the lower class on welfare not being able to explain how they spend your money. Why would you want a whole goddamn institution, the institution that most of your money goes to, every single American citizen not being able to account for the money? That makes no sense. Why would you care about the little bit that you claim is an issue when you don't care about the big gaping holes? You see what I'm saying? So, this shit is bullshit. Now, number two, there's another element to it. While less of your money goes to these things, you actually pay more for healthcare. You actually pay more for education at the same time that you don't want to subsidize the shit. You don't think it's a human and civil right, education. Americans don't think higher education is a human civil right. Americans don't think tech school is a human and civil right. Americans don't think healthcare is a human and civil rights. And you're actually paying more than these very countries in the Western world. Like, it makes no sense. But so again, less than 50%. Here it says 49. The data I did before said between 50 and 55, right? But it depends on what's exactly in that, right? But still, 50% automatically that you pay in taxes goes somewhere else that has nothing to do with anything you can touch, see, or affects your daily life. You're the only people in the Western world that are okay with that. American citizens. That can't make sense. If you're worried about high taxes, why aren't you worried about where the fucking money's spent? The truth is that you're not really worried about taxes. You only use taxes as an excuse when it comes time to talk about Medicare, Medicaid, healthcare, and education and housing for the middle class. That's the only time you bring up taxes. The truth is that Americans pay a whole lot of taxes, and a lot of those taxes goes right into Elon Musk's pocket. That's what's going on. So, in any case, y'all, let me hear some more of Mamdani real quick on his way out of here, and then I'm going to cut it.
So let me ask you, because that was October 17th, so it was actually a week and a half ago. But I want to ask you, because you asked me when he said that. Are you talking to him? Are people like that people that you're going to sit down with and eagerly work with, or not?
Look, I'll have conversations with anyone. And I've spoken to Jamie Dimon briefly, and I've spoken to a number of other business leaders across the city about my proposals. I know that there are disagreements around my fiscal policy, that I think we should raise income taxes on the top 1% of New Yorkers who make $1 million or more a year by 2%, or the fact that I think corporations' top tax rate should be matching what they pay in New Jersey. And still, there is room for an immense amount of agreement on what it means to bring the city forward, and I'll always leave that door open.
So, okay. So let me just ask you about President Obama. I know that you had a conversation with him. What was that conversation about? Your most recent one?
I appreciated the conversation with President Obama, and we spoke about both
the New York Post headline is that he's not endorsing you.
Yeah, well, the New York Post has a lot of fun with their headlines, to put it lightly. It was a conversation where we were speaking about the importance of hope in politics, the delivery of that kind of an agenda.
I'm sure the New York Post loved Donald Trump's tax cut for the rich.
And I also shared with him that the remarks that I had shared outside of a mosque in the Bronx not too long ago was inspired in part by his remarks on race of a more perfect union many years ago. And I think there is often a tendency in our politics to think solely in a 24-hour news cycle, and the need to sometimes step back and speak to the soul of a city and not just the cycle of that city.
Do you think that he, and he's never endorsed a mayoral candidate, so that's why I'm making the point, of course, he wasn't going to endorse, but do you feel that he has your back? Because there are plenty in the Democratic Party who are scared of you too. And they don't know whether you're going to succeed, if they're going to sit back and watch.
I can understand that's a journalistic question. It's a good question to ask. But the mere fact that he called the man is basically saying, I endorse you. You know what I mean? Even though he's not going to do it officially, because he doesn't endorse any mayors officially. I mean, it's ridiculous, right? This is not a national candidate. It's not a congressional candidate. It's not, they're not on the federal government level, you see. But hold on.
Do you think he's someone who's going to be in there in it with you?
Well, I appreciated the president offering to be a sounding board, and that's exactly what we see as what the future of these next few weeks and months look like. It looks like speaking to those who've been in these very kinds of positions and putting together a team that reflects the best and the brightest that this city and this country has to offer, and then delivering on this agenda. And that's what actually terrifies Donald Trump and Elon Musk and even Andrew Cuomo the most. It's their fear that we will, in fact, accomplish the things that we have campaigned on. And that's one place where they're actually right.
All right, so
yeah, that's true, because they make an excuse that you can't bring prices down. You can't get more taxpayers' health care. You can't get more taxpayers in, or children into education, real education, not some bozo education where you come out with no actual trade or you come out with no degree that can, where you can actually move forward in society. And also not one that is a ball and chain where you have to carry around the debt for the rest of your life. What the hell good is that kind of education? Who does that? Americans. That's who does that. Americans. Like, wow. Which is exactly why someone else from another country that moves to the United States who already has an education, and plenty do, have an advantage over other American citizens because their country backed them. The United States doesn't back its students. And that's shameful. That's really shameful. You don't back your youth. You're not backing your families. Nothing, man. And so people need to look at where does that fucking tax money go to? And again, this is not pointing a finger at any particular, government agency like the military. Here's the fact of the matter is that we shouldn't be calling it socialism, because if you're going to call healthcare and education socialism when the government is making sure everyone has access to it, then why don't you call the motherfucking military socialism? You all paying into it. You all pay. Is it a socialized military? Is the United States military a socialist military? It is. It actually is. You don't hear anybody complaining about that. You hear any Republicans complaining about socialized military, United States military being socialized? No, they don't complain about it. They just go ahead and do it. They only complain about it when it's time to deal with health care or education, which is really, really weird, because it makes it look like these are warmongers because they don't have anything else to balance that off with. Okay, you love having the military, but you don't love having American citizens having equal and fair access to education. You love having the military, but you don't love working American citizens being able to afford health care. It's just a scam. It's just a scam at this point. And I'm really thankful for Donald J. Trump and his sycophants for running, for showing the American people how much of a fucking scam it is. Because if they weren't so blatant about it, people may not have a chance to really pick it apart and put it in the forefront of everybody's mind. But in any case, I'm back, y'all. Listen, I'm out. Vote Prop 50, California. What's up? It's your day. I'm going to be watching and listening. Be good, everybody. One.
They want war. Crime babies looking for food. Starvation, the recipe. People subdued. When the people you trust got enough for you. Deceit is the word of the day in every clue. Don't let it go. It's from the days of old. Time is up, but some still do not know. Can I make up my mind? Is it worth the dime? Do I have to take a minute just to make it mine? Life's never fair, but don't listen to the TV. Go out and take a listen to the streets with the people in the slums and the homeless bums with degrees and degrees sitting under a tree. It's not easy in the world for the poor man, the one that brought you to reality. See, they don't want you to know about the black sheep, leaving 7 roads to the 12 families all around the globe with an ancient code. Is it really asking a lot to say a death old? Cause we sitting on the earth looking back at extinct, and I'm standing on some ground that's about to sink. I ain't scared for a minute, I ain't about to blink, but I documented for the world what I see and think. Feel we on the call and up and we on the break. All Congress gonna do is waste paper and ink. Vote or die. You voted and you'll die. You can have it both ways, can't say it's a lie. You can march all you want, but they playing you wrong. They only understand war, it's the same old song. They want war. All they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. All they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war.
Like a lotus coming out of the mud with colors, I create envy in those with power but jealous. I unify the poor with my song, the hell with the others. Descended the way they treat indigenous brothers, cause I understand we link forever. They try to hate us even though that we keep it together. I'm not talking about controlling the air or the weather. I'm talking about maintaining the truth, the high endeavor. A rebel drops bombs in the midst of trouble. The free world counterattack and now there's double. But nature gets the shit in a way to settle. If you stop the machines for a minute, you might hear, but they won't, cause the TVs whisper in the ear. And capitalism has eyes that don't fear, and they cloud up and get crazy and won't steer. And like an ab, it's hard to get an ass to listen. Living like this is like living in prison. It's hard to keep hope when you're living in prison. The spiritual thoughts, so yes, the mental prison. The outside, yes, it's got to get through. Something's gotta die, so something here can live. Your life is nothing if you got nothing to give. Keeping the spiritual, yes, disguised as religion. Controlling your mind, the mental prison.
They want war. All they really want is a war. Diversion, every tactic to make the big score. Them diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. All they really want is a